Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and you're going to want to stick around because the third answer is a secret as to how self-publishing can be made very easy after a little bit of time. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in to me today was, how hard is self-publishing? Now, the person who asked this is clearly wondering a little bit about you've got a book that you've already written or that you're looking at writing and you want to get it onto the market, but you want to self-publish it as opposed to going with a traditional publisher. And as you start to think and start to explore, it can begin to become very confusing. You can see an awful lot of options available, both in terms of the tools, the distribution routes, the formats your book's going to be available in, and then how exactly you use all of this stuff to put it together in order to actually successfully get your book onto the market. And then we start marketing your book with ads and with all social media marketing and content marketing. It's very confusing, all of the different options, and so it begins to seem extremely difficult to self-publish if you want to get started on it. But that is what we're going to hit today, whether or not it really is or has to be all that difficult. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out below in the comments in the description where you will find my absolutely free self-publishing checklist to make sure that you are not skipping any of the important steps necessary to win at the self-publishing game. So let's get into it. Back and forth. When I first got started, I had already got my Kindle book onto the market. I had made a number of the self-publishing decisions and choices and started to see some sales coming in. And now it was time for me to start making real money, which is through the paperbacks and later on audiobooks and such and such. But for this particular story, when I first got started with the paperback books, I was thinking, well, how hard could it be? So I figured, well, I'll pay somebody on Fiverr to create a cover for my paperback book. At the time, it was on CreateSpace, which is now known as, or was bought up as, KDP Print. And so Kindle Direct Publishing, but the print version. And so what you're able then to do is that you pay somebody on Fiverr and they can produce a cover for you. Now, I just grabbed some random person. I gave them my Kindle cover, which also I now use Fiverr also to produce that. And when they got my cover, they sent me back something that I submitted to CreateSpace. And then what happened? I attempted to do it myself. And the thing is that when I sent it in, it got rejected by CreateSpace. So I attempted to try to see if I could take the cover and the templates that are available from Amazon in order to make this work. So I took the cover, I put it in position. I used a photoshopping program called GIMP, which is free, and I tried to position it, and then I sent it into Amazon, or CreateSpace at the time, and they rejected it. And then they sent it back to me, and I tried to fix it again. I sent it back to them, and they rejected it yet again. And we continue this back and forth game as I'm trying to get my cover accepted, but nothing I'm doing seems to be working. So I finally, after a period of time, figured out how to make GIMP work and pulling in the templates and working with layers and adjusting and moving stuff around and understanding terms like bleed and all sorts of things like that. And at that point, it became super easy from that point on. I understood exactly what to do, how to take my Kindle cover, which I had gotten done also on Fiverr. You can find my affiliate link to the person I use on Fiverr to specifically do this particular task of creating the initial cover for each of my books. But not only did I find it to be unbelievably simple to do the covers, I also trained my virtual assistants as well so that I wouldn't even have to do this task. I could just give other people the task, and then they would be able to put the covers together. But I, of course, needed to know how to do it myself first, and that was a bit of a challenge. And the interesting part is, after I figured out the one cover on CreateSpace, or KDP Print, how to get that cover done, suddenly my hardback covers for Lulu or my other paperback covers for Ingram Spark became very easy because they all also have templates for which you just take the template, you put your cover there. You can even use the same text that you have on the back of your original cover that you're using for Amazon's print version. And then the same with the spine. It takes a little bit of work, but really it's the same tasks. So they were not that much of a challenge either. once I had that core skill set done. And since then, I've put out tons of books, over nearly 200 books since that point. And that's one of the key things that I have learned. So how hard is self-publishing? Well, the answer is it is very hard. It's extremely difficult to self-publish in the beginning. And that is one of the key issues that you need to remember, that getting started is the hard part. It's really just starting and figuring these things out, and everything gets easier as you go, if it's broken down into smaller pieces. So we are not doing everything at once. We're simply focusing on one thing at a time, and we're breaking it into the smallest division there. And that's why, like I repeat over and over, you should start with your Kindle book. If you don't have a Kindle book out, then don't focus on anything else, because this is a head game. Motivation is the thing you're going to lose. And so one of the secret answer for today, it's that if you want to make sure that it isn't so hard, you're going to need to make sure you do not burn yourself out. And that means you need to dedicate a certain amount of time each day that you're going to use for your most important task in this process, or your MIT. And you're going to keep on going until that task gets easy. So, and you're saying, I don't really understand how to do covers, or converting my files to Mobi files, or many of these other things that are very confusing when you're first getting started. And my answer to you is use a certain amount of time each day. Follow people who can tell you how to go about doing this. That's one of the things we try here, which is to break things down and keep it simple. And by following through a little bit each day, each of these steps becomes easier and easier. And then we're ready for the next step, which will be covers. But none of these steps are easy. They're all hard when we first start because we have never done it before. But by moving through the steps nice and easy, we're able to make progress. If you find that you aren't able to make progress, you always can hire a coach. I do coaching for many students that you can find the link below in the description in order to help motivate you, to help ensure that you're on the right track, and to guide the direction that things are going in. You just have to let me know if you need any help on that, and I will check to see if I have any available spots. But otherwise, that also can be a very helpful way of making progress on your books if you're finding it to be too difficult to motivate yourself or knowing what to do next. So, do you find self-publishing to be hard? If you do, in the comments below, write yes. If you find no, it's easy for you to self-publish, then write no, and that will really help me out to make sure I understand where you are coming from so that I can create videos that will help you better in the future. And check up above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.